What is good? We're back. I'm a little under the weather. We're going to power through, though. Got the first week of preseason in the books. Got some fun stuff to chit-chat about. But, again, don't let it sway you too much. It's one sample next week. This guy could be getting X amount of run with the second team, and this guy could be getting X amount of run with the first team. They're switching things up, seeing what they got. It's fun to put some stuff and confirm some biases, but it's also you need to take a step back and breathe. That's what you need to do. It's probably the biggest thing you need to do right now, but it is fun to see guys you like go out there and perform and do their thing. And it's nice to see guys that you didn't like go out there and fall on their face. Hey, he's not even playing. He's not doing this. Travis Hunter can't tackle on defense, so he's got to play offense. Hey, maybe we're Omarion Hampton would have got tackled though on that.
Goodness gracious. All right, we're starting it off with that. Okay.
I want to start off with Stafford. Didn't play the game. Then Monday today said he was going to practice. Didn't practice. I think it's slowly. We talked about it. I floated it a few times. Each time we've done it, we talked about overall rankings for redraft in an episode that we did on the other channel. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go check out the redraft channel. Also, go check out FFD Radio on anywhere you get your podcast. That's where we're going to put all of our content, right? Redraft, Dynasty, Football Show, Devy, all that kind of stuff's going to be over there. Chev's got another podcast over there. We're going to bring other podcasts on, so make sure you check all that out. FFD Radio. But the level of concern for Matthew Stafford at this point has to be starting to get kind of real. And this, it's not that is he going to play? It's, are you going to get through 17 with this? Devontae Adams and him said they've played, when they got over to LA, they threw it around a bunch and got things working, but you're not out there working right now. Right. And they said they had the practice behind closed doors, 60 throws, yada, yada, yada. But we still haven't seen any Matt Stafford. You're getting epidural. Like, the level of concern for your Puka and Devontae shares are definitely starting to get, a little worried. And, is Kirk Cousins a Ram by week 1?
Oh God! If you want to just throw your Super Bowl hopes in the toilet, yeah, go ahead and trade for Matthew Stafford, or go ahead and trade for Kirk Cousins. I'm worried.
I think you got to start being worried.
I'm also Chev, by the way, but I'm worried first and foremost. Like that's the thing. I said before we started recording this, is this year's Christian McCaffrey with his calf injury that we later found out was, an Achilles tendonitis. Is Matthew Stafford with his backiotomy and the epidural and all that stuff? Is this year's like, hey, it's not that big of a deal? And then we get to week 4 of the preseason, and they're like, all right, cool. So we got to shut him down for a couple games. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be our starter against the Texans. So I'm not really sure where to go with this one, but it can't be good. It's not good. I mean, like, you talk about giving people epidurals when they have babies and stuff, or like nerve blocks and stuff. So we're talking about a guy that needs to go play American tackle football for our fantasy teams. So
right.
This isn't good. I don't like it. I mean, I wish that he would have been out and practicing today. They've downplayed it a bunch, but at this point, we're 2.5, maybe 3 weeks into training camp, and there's no way that you can just frame this as a non-story or non-issue at this point.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I've, dynasty wise, your Puka shares, it kind of is what it is a little bit. You knew that there was probably a quarterback rearrange coming at some point here in the near future, but Devontae Adams, your dynasty stock where you were hoping maybe a contender, the value keeps getting weaker and weaker on that dollar really quickly here. And then, as far as redraft goes, I really, really like Puka as a first round pick and Devontae as a, 3rd, 4th round pick. But right now, both of those, like, there's other guys around there that I'm way more confident in at this current juncture that I'd click the button on right now than them, just because, it's a big deal, right? So definitely just something to keep monitoring. I know we've touched on it a decent amount on the last couple of shows, but it's something that needs to garner a decent amount of your attention, because those are, not cheap assets, especially in the redraft sphere and Puka in the dynasty sphere, right? So
Yeah, here's the thing. We've been talking, kind of under our breath for years about, hey, what are the Rams going to do whenever Matthew Stafford hangs it up? And that's what's stopping us. That and the injury history is what's stopping us from making Puka Nacua like a top 3 dynasty wide receiver, is because we don't know how long we're going to get Stafford, who's proven that he's incredible for fantasy wide receivers. And what do we do after that happens? So from a dynasty perspective, yeah, Puka's on a little bit of shaky ground. This just kind of, if you were already fear mongering in your leagues about what happens when there's no Matthew Stafford, this might create another buying opportunity if you are a Puka truther and you just want to go and capitalize on this Matthew Stafford panic.
I have absolutely no qualms with buying Puka at all. The Rams are an organization that I trust to go figure it out, whether it's purchasing one or developing one or drafting one and figuring it out. I'm not that concerned. It's not the Browns. It's not it's not the Commanders that it's not a franchise and a team where you've been so concerned about the quarterback forever, at least in McVay's tenure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would buy Puka right now in the dynasty realm without any qualms there. So, but let's go over to the preseason side of things. You're a Tennessee Titans guy. We got our first look at Cam Ward. I thought it was, about as good as it could have gone for what you wanted to see and what to expect from Cam Ward. And then we can hit a little Ridley, and Tony Pollard just keeps getting stronger and stronger of a fantasy asset in any scenario that you have him in. So what was the Titans kind of homer view of Cam Ward in that first start there, Chev?
Good. I mean, it was everything that he put on, everything that I saw at Miami. Like, I did go and watch as much all 22 as humanly possible once I figured out that Cam Ward was going to be the thing. So, yeah, he does take some risks with the ball. He tried to make a hole shot in cover 2, and the corner almost picked it off because he didn't put enough air under it. Or it's just, it was an ill-advised throw. But that's what you're going to get with Cam Ward. What I did love about everything I saw with Cam Ward is, like, you could clearly see him. They're not reining him in. They're letting him go through progressions and flourish. I think if you go to my Twitter account, you can see a throw where he made it was an incompletion, but you can clearly see his head working from one side of the progression back, to the middle, and then as soon as he sees the matchup that he wants, he fires it. And you see, it's a short pass that ends up being incomplete. But I was thrilled. I accept Cam Ward into my heart as my franchise savior. So if you want to know how it went, I'm fully all in. I'm about to go get a Cam Ward tramp stamp, if that's what you're asking me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought him moving around, looking around, firing the ball around, all looked very good from the little bit that you saw of him. Yes, it is preseason. I'm sure the Bucs starters were not all in there. This guy's saying he's got Bucs playing one starter on defense. It is what it is. To me, it's not necessarily about I just want to see how he's moving, what he looks like if he's going through stuff, and getting him just a little bit of playing time there. So that was good to see from him. And then really the big thing was just Calvin Ridley early, often. I absolutely love Calvin Ridley this season in any format. I think he's going to absolutely slaughter it. So again, what we're doing throughout this process is a little bit of confirmation bias, of course, but I like seeing Cam out there ripping it, moving it around, going through some progressions, and Calvin Ridley being a big part of kind of what was going on out there.
Yeah, I think we've all been kind of saying the same thing for since Cam Ward became the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, and it's, hey, wheels up for Calvin Ridley. So the easiest parallel to draw is the Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin of 2024, and this is the early candidate to be that. Calvin Ridley is like a 6th-round draft pick in redraft. Give me 1 second to pull the ADP up. Ridley,
I think he's a fifth round pick in our ADP.
Oh, is it? Yeah. So 605, wide receiver 33 on the current redraft ADP. That's a tremendous value. I think he returns on this easily if he just plays all the games. And I think he smashes this if Cam Ward is what we close 70% of what we think he is. He's going to smash wide
Yeah.
receiver 33. So yeah, this is he's one of the best values in all formats right now.
Yeah, and I think one of the other best values right now is Tony Pollard, man, and he's pretty much stayed that way. And then we kind of hemmed and hawed about where Spears would be, because both of us like Spears. I think Spears is a good player, but Tony's return to form looked really good last year, averaged 15 points a game, right? We thought, and look, Spears is going to come back at some point, but missing a chunk of time right here, and then coming on gives Pollard some more time to settle into a bit of a bigger time role. He can kind of do it all, and I don't think there's a better, and I don't, maybe this will increase his redraft position at this point, but there hasn't been a better button to click if you need a running back in that range of where Tony Pollard is heading, really. In Dynasty, if you get kind of stuck in a draft where you're like, hey, I kind of need my team's shaping up to be half decent, I need another running back, man, Tony Pollard in the Dynasty realm has been an easy button to click for me too. I mean, just think it's a solid player. I think this is an offense that's moving forward. Is it going to be excellent this year? Probably not going to be the best offense we've ever seen, but I think it's going to be a big step forward. And last year, really in a dog water offense, was 15 points a game. I just need him to stay around there, and we're good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting 15 points a game from a guy who's going off the board right now, Dynasty 1102, redraft 704. If you can bag 15 points a game on that's an unequivocal win. I'm excited about Tony Pollard this year. This is unfortunate for Tajay. I do have a lot of Tajay shares, but this has kind of been the MO since, we come into year 2, can't really stay healthy. Once he gets back on the field, he's like running back 1, running back 10, and running back 12 in the fantasy playoffs. So talented player, but we just can't see him on the field. But the clarity we do have now is that Tony Pollard's probably going to assume 70 to 75% of the snaps, with Tajay Spears dealing with the high ankle sprain. So yeah, it's just we did this thing as fantasy players where we immediately discounted what Tony Pollard was able to do in a terrible environment and said, hey, Tajay Spears is going to assume more of a role this year. Well, now we don't have to worry about that anymore, and you can just select Tony Pollard and keep it moving.
Yeah, Spears will come back and who's been banged up in various ways, so not great for that kind of case study on Spears, but we'll come back and be a bit of a thorn in the side at some point, I'm sure. But I think this just again helps further cement Tony being their guy, and I don't think he's not going to give them a reason to go to Spears either. I don't think.
Correct.
Right. No. So that's really the big thing.
No, I mean he's been. We talk about Devin Neal being the professional's professional. That's all Tony Pollard's ever done. It's like he was electric in Dallas. He breaks his leg. He sucks for half of 2023. Then he goes back to being Tony Pollard. Then comes back home, and he was Tony Pollard. But this offense was just so putrid with a bad offensive line and Will Levis and all this other stuff. He still gave you 15 points a game. So being excited about something like that, like it's not a sexy click, but these are the clicks that give you an advantage. Like you've got an extra running back when somebody goes down if you're clicking the button on Tony Pollard.
Yeah. Was there any other Titans offensively that excited you in this one?
Not Gunnar Helm. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've been pissed because we didn't take a Rondé Gadsden for a while, but I can't act like I didn't like Gunnar Helm before I found out he ran, a 4.9 40 with a busted ankle. So, he's consistently showed up, and he made a couple catches that made me feel like, okay, cool. His play speed is much faster than his 40 time, and he's got a way. Again, I described it as just figuring out a way to get between him, like getting his body between the quarterback and the defender. He just finds a way, and he's 6'5", and he's got a big catch radius, and he was their go-to guy, their most consistent receiver at the University of Texas last year. So yeah, Gunnar Helm, as I'm a big fan.
Yeah. And then on the other side of that contest, we had the Bucs, right? We didn't see any Baker, but we did see, I think, continuously what happens to be one of the best buys in all of fantasy is Jalen McMillan on like first play of the game, catch a nice route there. We're getting further and further down the road of seeing no Chris Godwin. McMillan's probably going to have a role to start this season, right? And really could have a nice little jump to your season. He might get pushed back down for a little bit, but we have no idea how healthy Chris Godwin's going to be. He could be out there for 2 more games and be a setback. So dynasty wise, Jalen McMillan's one of my favorite buys going right now. And then obviously Ibuka was out there. We got to see a little bit of him. But yeah, I mean, and then unfortunately we had a little bit of a Rachaad White groin injury, but it seems like more of a day-to-day situation. Me and Big Co are in the 14th round right now, that FFPC 500, and just grabbed Rachaad White. So that was nice to see him still hanging around there, and it wasn't a serious injury, right? But Kyle Trask out there looking pretty decent.
Solid.
So yeah, that's your boy, right?
Florida boy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a great American tackle football quarterback, but he played at the University of Florida. I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been they kind of like him down there, and he's been slowly getting better and better, right?
He's firmly the backup, but I mean, I can't tell you how fucked they are if they have to play Kyle Trask in the year 2025.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully nobody wants that in fantasy at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so
he looked good though. He made our boy look good.
Yeah. I mean, Ibuka came out there, grabbed one. McMillan grabbed one. Your boy Culp was out there. But nothing to really write home about as far as anybody else really sticking out here. Sean Tucker remains a solid player when he's out there, right?
I mean, you got a little coach speak. You got a little coach speak from Todd Bowles, which we got to, when he starts talking about the running back room, we need to take him a little bit more seriously, because the tide all changed last year with the way that they were talking about the running backs when they got their ass kicked by the Broncos. And he stopped talking about Rachaad White as the first guy. He was like, the best guy's going to play. And now he's saying that they've got to figure out a way to get Sean Tucker more touches because he's so productive. It's just gross. It's a gross thing for Rachaad White. I hopefully he bounces back, but Sean Tucker is basically free. You can get him as a throw in to any dynasty trade that you want, pretty much, unless that guy is an employee of pewterreport.com or something like that. So yeah, Sean Tucker, throwing him into any trade, and he's electric. He's got the juice. He was the RB1, I believe, in week 4 or 5 last year overall. And so I don't mind throwing him in any trade. But yeah, Ibuka was incredible. He just missed, he hit the first play of the game, or one of the first plays of the game on an out or a comeback. It's hard to tell with the broadcast. And then he just missed he beat Jarvis Brownlee deep, but the ball skipped off of his hands. So he's everything that's as advertised. So you need to be much more aggressive in redraft in acquiring Emeka Ibuka, because this is going to be really good. The Bucs were 8th in 11 personnel uses last year in the entire league. So I think that continues. And I think that, if Chris Godwin's going to the pup, as Daniel alluded to, Jalen McMillan and Emeka Ibuka are going to be incredible values.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think both of those guys are rising stocks. I love both of them. They both have looked really good. Jalen McMillan, all he's done is return being a solid asset. Obviously got a little knocked down here with the adding of Ibuka, but again, he continues to be a great buy for me. He's already showed me that he can play well in this league. We don't know how long it is for Godwin to be around. We certainly don't know how long it is for Mike Evans to be around. So, patience is a virtue in dynasty. So, Ibuka and McMillan are bright stars for this team, unfortunately, for the rest of the NFC South, right? So big bummer there. All right, we got a couple questions here. Going back up. Somebody just McCaffrey versus 2027 first and a Dobbins. Really just depends on where you're at there, team build wise, right? If you got a good team, probably stick it with McCaffrey. If you're a rebuilder, I mean, I guess grab the first and keep it moving. Me and Big Co traded McCaffrey for basically RJ Harvey this year in a rookie draft, which was picked like 113 on a team that's really good, but needed to get a little bit younger, and we just were unsure of where McCaffrey was at that point. So that's kind of where I went. Super contender, then I'll be on the McCaffrey side on that one. I think he easily could be another league winner.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like, send that first and then figure out a way to get it back.
Yeah. Andy, I appreciate you. CFB Andy, been listening for a while. First time joining us live. If you got a trade question, throw it in there. We'll try to get it. Caleb Johnson, sure. We can go to that. We can go to that game here. We got Steelers, Jags coming at you live. Watch that one. This is kind of on local TV here. I thought Mason Rudolph was sharp. I thought the Pittsburgh offense looked pretty good. I don't know why we're taking Caleb Johnson's stock is taking a couple hits. Not to me. He looked fine out there to me. I got no qualms with what I saw from Caleb Johnson, at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What would I be upset about there?
I don't know. I mean, just, him not looking very explosive or whatever it is that, just stumbling out of the backfield on a run, the very first run. And
there's nowhere to go. Freeze frame that thing. Yeah. Dynasty Zoltan out here making himself look like the biggest clown that he is, saying he's supposed to do this.
First, we weren't supposed to say names.
Yeah, I'll say names because he's kind of a clown in that regard. So I don't appreciate that slander. This is why he'll never be good. Okay, man, it's his first run in a preseason game. Let's relax, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you chat GPT how to run? Like, he was like, he needs to have his arms up, and like, shut up. You don't know.
To have his arms up. I know we're supposed to be talking. That's so fucking stupid.
Good guy. I like him. I don't, I'm talking shit.
I don't look, we all do dumb shit sometimes. Yeah. Like, I thought
he did the same shit with Trey Benson last year because he didn't like Trey Benson, right? First game or two, he said he stunk, and it was like, I mean, really, if you watch Trey Benson down the stretch, he got much better, right? So just stop making calls and confirmation bias off of one thing that you saw. But other than that, I thought Caleb looked just fine. I mean, there were some good runs there. That first run wasn't great. There wasn't really anywhere to go. What do you want him to do? And so, then made Travis Hunter look like a small child, so that was cool. Amarion Hampton could never. So, he got tackled like that. I'm just playing with all this stuff. Everybody's nice guys, but no, I honestly, I didn't mind what I saw from Caleb out there. The first team offense, or the first team with Pittsburgh, looked just fine, right? Got a little Romy Wilson catch in there. Another one of my faves from Pittsburgh right now. And then on the other side, you had Jacksonville, getting ETN involved early, had a couple runs, didn't net a whole lot of yards, looked decent on the pass play though, got the first down, right? Playing a lot with the first team. They saw Travis Hunter get a couple of catches in there and couple of schemed up things. And redraft wise, I'll draft all the Travis Hunter in the world, right? But as far as Dynasty goes, my confidence in him, until he says I'm on this side mostly, then it's not warranted at the value where you have to take him for me personally. We've been saying what Devontae Adams has said recently, that this is a really tough thing to do, and to do it well and to have your body take that sort of beating for that long and be on both sides of the field is really tricky. As far as best ball and redraft, grab Travis Hunter in the 5th, 6th rounds if he's hanging out there. In the 4th round of Dynasty, not a chance right now that I'm messing with Travis Hunter, right? I would need more things to be confirmed. That nothing really changed there, right? For me throughout this process.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to add to that. I mean, I think that with Travis Hunter and that whole situation, it's like, if you want to buy in redraft, then by all means, he's going, especially if you have any sort of IDP slot or whatever, that bumps his value up tremendously. He should probably be like a top 24 pick in that instance. But in just straight redraft, you're gonna have to deal with some of this to where it's game plan specific. He's gonna give you 20-something point weeks, and then he's gonna have weeks where he only gets 4 points because he only runs 20 routes the whole week. So that's what you have to be comfortable living with. And if you're comfortable living in those margins where it's could be 25, could be 3, if you're comfortable with that, then by all means do that. But we're just saying, hey, you can pick guys that play offense full time. You don't get bonus points You don't
Right.
get bonus points because the guy plays both ways. Like that's just not that's so yeah. I choose your own adventure in Dynasty if you're picking Travis Hunter.
Yeah, no, I'm they had him out on offense. He got a decent amount. He got more snaps on offense and defense. Look, we started it off with, hey, not looking super duper deep on how guys were used with where and how in the preseason just yet. Travis Hunter's going to play a lot, and I think he can Iron Man through a season without a problem. Can he do 3 seasons as an Iron Man? That's TBD, man. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask of a human, like from a stamina perspective.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a problem, obviously, right? But I think from a physical body issue, it probably could be a bit of an issue, and that's kind of how I've looked at that.
His heart and his intellect and his mind are all going to like lead him to want to play on both sides of the ball as much as humanly possible. And again, no, everybody said that Shohei Ohtani couldn't do it until he did it. So we could just be wrong. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable after living 40 years on this earth saying that, hey, there's a good chance that that's something that we're not going to see. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, then it's just, hey, this guy's going to be really good on whatever side of the ball he commits to.
Yeah. Difference is Shohei did it for a minute, and then also you could get days off and not pitch, right? Yeah. Like you're not gonna pitch every time you go out there, right? Obviously they play a million games, so it's a little different, but you're not wrong. And I think mentally and stamina wise, I think he could do it. I just think long term, until he commits to the offensive side of the ball for Dynasty, not quite as interested. But best ball in redraft, I mean, hell yeah, let's go. Let's have some fun. And I like Travis Hunter. I think he's awesome. Like if he was just a wide receiver, wheels up, man. Right. But and again, I would rather just be wrong on that and then have to come back and buy whatever the new price is if he switches gears to just being, hey, I play offense now for whatever reason. But
yeah,
so that I just would rather play it a little safer there because, like you said, I would rather he did not look that slow. What is happening right here? Like, looked real slow out there. What are we talking about? It's crazy.
That's great. Oh, it's so good.
Did you guys 2.5 yards an attempt? Yeah. Did you see the ones that went for 7 or 8 yards, and then the ones that he got caught? That's how this works, right? There's a push and a pull. Yeah. I don't think he looks slow at all.
You've been doing this shit to me for 2 weeks, so this is great. Yeah, I'm having a wonderful time.
Yeah. No, there's no concerns on the Caleb Johnson, and he looked great to me. I'm good. Breece Hall or JT in Dynasty or redraft. I don't know which one you're talking about there.
I mean, it's got to be Breece in Dynasty and JT for redraft.
I could go Breece in both, but JT, I could go JT redraft, sure.
Yeah, it's just I mean, I'm fine. I've been pretty much on the hey, Breece is going to go back to being a top 5 running back thing, but it just at some point,
hey, he looked real slow out there. All right.
At some point, I have to believe Aaron Glenn when he just starts doing all this committee nonsense, and that's just what he compared. He's done all the Breece is Gibbs and Montgomery is Braylon out. It's just pissing me off.
Yeah, I mean,
Breece is all of it in one.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, and I saw somebody the thing where Breece saying he's not their guy. Braylon Allen ain't their guy either. None of those guys are their guys. So it's not there's they have some allegiance to one or the other. I think they're gonna roll with who's ever given them the best chance to win a game. I think Breece has the better tools right now to help them win games. But I think you're going to see plenty of, whether it's Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis, injuries, whatever happens, you're going to see both of them. I think the Jets are just going to run the ball a decent amount.
And that's the answer is they're going to run the ball a lot.
Right. And Breece is their second best pass catcher on the team. And that's what I'm going to bank on as far as, my Breece shares right now, right? And so he goes somewhere else. Excellent, great. Breece is somewhere else.
25 on a second contract. I love it.
We got CFB Andy. He's saying current talks give Penix plus Thornton, get Harvey, Braylon Allen, and Ayuk. I'm a top contender, but I have Mahomes, Stroud, Caleb, and a 10-team superflex. Also owns Breece for what it's worth. So you want to give up a quarterback for Harvey, Braylon Allen, and Ayuk?
If you're a top contender, like
and you got quarterbacks, I guess.
Yeah, I just don't like giving up. You hear Big Co say this. If you listen to this at any point, it's hard to get a trade done where you're giving up a quarterback and you're not getting one back. And I firmly agree with this. Now you have the depth. I mean, I think he mentioned that he's got what did he say he has? Where's that one at?
It was up a bit. I had to scroll up.
Okay.
He said he has Stroud, Caleb, and Mahomes, and it's a 10-team.
Yeah. I mean that's fine. It just makes does it make your team better, or does it improve their team more than it improves yours?
Yeah. I mean, I love Penix, so I really don't like giving Penix up because I do think there's still room.
That's my point. Is we both love Captain Durag, so I'm a little bearish on just giving him up in general, but that's a decent haul, right?
It's certainly ADP wise not terrible, right? You're kind of right on you're right on track with the value. You're not giving up the quarterback, so there has to be plus in there on that end of things. And Braylon Allen, I guess, is enough plus, and then Ayuk down the road. He's probably not going to help you out at least for the first half of this year, and then don't be surprised if he's not great for a minute, right? Because it's just, he might not be great for the rest of the season, And so yes, I could be okay with that. If you got some quarterbacks, it's a 10-teamer. You need some better flex or running back play. You get the handcuff and Allen a little bit, who probably have some standalone, and maybe a big upgrade on Ayuk down the road. I could be down with it. All right, let's. He said, I love him too. That's the struggle. The other team is in a deep rebuild, but doesn't buy Harvey a bit. So yeah, selling Penix, sure.
I mean, if he's in a deep rebuild,
he has Arch eventually. It's Debbie. All right, let's keep it moving here. Anything else on Jacksonville that got you excited outside of
Mr. Tootin?
Yeah, we could talk a little Tootin.
We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. It just he looked good.
Yeah.
Good.
Moving around out there pretty well.
Catching the passes, like making people miss.
Mm-hmm.
It was impressive.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you've got you're going to have a little bit of a longer leash on the top two guys as far as Bigsby and ETN.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this kind of just plays out how we've been talking about it. Like, those two guys are coming in as the first two guys, right? And until they don't give them a reason to keep going with him, or Tootin gives them the Bucky Irving, hey, can't undeniable. I think you stick with those other two guys, right? And you roll with them because they give you two of everything. They give you what you need in those two guys, right? Two different stylistic players. They could fit two different things that you're trying to achieve. And then Tootin can come in there if one of those guys is hurt or isn't getting it done or fumbling or, not taking the most of their opportunities or any of those kind of situations. But yeah, no, I always liked Tootin. What I didn't like is somehow he jumped the line completely just immediately.
He became a second round pick in our ADP. And that's at that point I was like, yeah, no, get off my lawn with this.
Right.
Like an early second round pick. Late second round, fine. Early second round, like he was getting into that, Jackson Dart, Colston Loveland, depending on where you draft. Like I got Colston Loveland at the 2-1 in a couple spots, but like Tootin's going like the 2-4, 2-3, 2-4, and that's way, way too early for me.
Yeah, no, it got a little up there, and I think there's about to be a whole nother round of rookie drafts here coming, so we'll see, kind of monitor Tootin, but I think he'll slide back up there. Him and Scatabo got a little crazy for me there for a minute.
Yeah, I remember Henry was saying that he was going in the 1-9 of FFPC leagues, and I was like, that's a mistake.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Scatabo or Tootin?
Scatabo.
Yeah. Real quick, we got a sponsor coming in. He's built a new game. It's really, really fun. It's called Fantasy Football Survivor. We're going to be plugging this throughout and doing a segment on it in season. It's essentially like a Survivor League, like you've played in the past, except you select one person at every position. You can only select them one time, just like your typical Survivor. And then you have to be within a certain median range of points to kind of move on to the next week. So it's going to be a lot of fun. www.fantasyfootballsurvivor.com. We'll be pushing it out there on all of our platforms, and we'll be playing it and showing you and giving you little videos of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's free to play right now. You could also take it over with your buddies and play in your leagues for some cash. I've been enjoying messing around with the site, but super simple. It's nice because you don't really even need to know all that much, right? You could just, it's one guy at each position, pick them out, get to use them one time. And then there's kind of a cut line that you can see kind of moving as the day goes on. So
right.
A lot of fun. Make sure you check that out.
Yeah, I was gonna show my phone and show a picture of the thing, but I don't have my messages off, and I don't want something to pop up that I don't want to pop up. So yeah, you guys will just have to take our word for it. It's awesome. I've already put in lineup for week 1. Really excited. It's super simple to put the lineups in, and it's a really fun deal to use. There we go. We go. Yeah, super easy, man.
So you're just, like you said, you just select one of each position. You'll eventually be able to edit like the scoring and the settings of who you want to be able to put in there as far as, quarterbacks, tight ends, scoring, all that kind of stuff. But he's going to have one big free pool, and then you're going to have another chance to enter a couple weeks later. So all sorts of good stuff coming from there. It's really, really simple, really, really fun to play. I think it's going to be a big hit for years to come. I'm excited to get it implemented in all my leagues and get some $20 pools going on inside the fantasy leagues I already got going on. Plus, he's going to have a big free pool going on with some prizes at the end of it. So, all right, let's keep it moving. Let's shift over to who you want to talk about now. Let's go Pats. Travion Henderson. Obviously, the excitement cannot be contained by some people with what you saw, obviously, from first play from live football from Travion Henderson, right?
Man, it's the Travion Henderson experience in a nutshell. So he's got the game-breaking home run ability. That's why a lot of people had him as their RB2. He's tremendous in pass protection, but we got to see the part that scores fantasy points be awesome this weekend, and that's the part that we're all most excited about. I think I text you. I was like, fuck, man, Travion just went a 3-8 in a fast draft that I'm doing. So I think people are getting a little excited, rightfully so. Again, the last time that we talked about this, we had Mondre, which I thought Mondre was a value. I still think Mondre can be a value. But he's out there putting the ball on the ground in camp. And that's the one thing that I said that Mike Vrabel absolutely will not tolerate is people who put the ball on the ground. So
but came out here. But a lot of talk about, obviously Travion was great, and Travion did what Travion does. That's what you're gonna want to see. That's what you want to see from him. That's why you drafted him, because he's so electric, right? He had one catch for 18 yards. But I thought underlying story here, no fumbles from Ramondre on his 7 carries, 5.1 a carry, looked decent doing it, right? So look, as long as he doesn't fumble away his opportunities, I think you're gonna see a long amount leash on Ramondre to be kind of their guy that sets the pace, sets the tone, and then Travion again is gonna be, I hate he's not Gibbs, just kind of Gibbs-like role to kind of play into the season. And as I think things go, things will be expanded for him. And depending on how Ramondre's season goes, things will get increased or decreased for Ramondre, or kind of stay the same for Ramondre, right?
Yeah, I think the thing that I walk away with this is thinking that Travion is going to be one of the most efficient per touch running backs in the entire NFL this year.
Yeah.
Like generating explosive plays, just doing all that stuff. So yeah, I was excited. I was excited to see that. I was even more excited to see the toss play where Will Campbell absolutely buried somebody and he gained like 15 yards. So it's all green over there for the Patriots and their draft picks right now. It seems like they knocked it out of the park. them sniping, Ben Johnson and the Bears on Travion Henderson looks like it was, a plus 1,000 IQ move. So, yeah, Travion looked the part. Water is wet.
Yeah, no, I think that's correct. I'm sure it certainly is going to continue to scoot him up redraft settings, right?
Yes.
I'm probably a hair low on him on the redraft side, just because I think it's going to could potentially be a little bit of a slower burn for him to really start and to be kind of in and out of the lineup. So you may have to grab him. I wouldn't want to play him week one. I kind of would want to see it, right? And so where you're having to pick him sixth this round was like, I don't know if I want to, do that right away. But I think as time goes on, you'll get more and more comfortable with Travion's role, and they'll get more and more comfortable with Travion's role. And he eventually will be a very good player. But how long do I want to wait in redraft for that to happen? And it's, kind of like you talked about Travis Hunter. I think there's probably going to be some games where Travion scores 30 in a week, and then the next week they're like, well, he didn't get that explosive or two, and now all of a sudden he killed you the next week. So you're like, what do I do with Travion? I think it might take a minute before that balances out. Or he could just come out here and be scooping up an insane amount of catches immediately, and it just be like, oh my God, this is the best cheat code ever.
Yeah. The question, I guess you got to ask yourself, how does it play out, right? Does it play out more like this running game and the upgraded offensive line play out more like the Dolphins in 2023 when they were just smashing everybody and Raheem Mostert scoring a bunch of short yardage touchdowns, and Devon Achane is consistently breaking off 40, 50, 60, 70-yard runs? Or is it just more kind of like, whatever? Like is it more like just a worse version of that? Like, is it just, do they just hand the ball to Ramondre and punt 12 times a game? Like, I think that it's closer to the Dolphins thing where he just generates a bunch of explosive plays, especially now seeing that, you go back and you read the reports about how he's basically unguardable whenever they run a wheel route in practice. And then he scores a 100-yard kickoff, and then he gets another touch for a 15 or 16-yard gain. It's like, I think he's going to be too good to keep off the field for a long time.
I think so. I think so as well. And I mean, I think, this receiving core is a little, I think you and I kind of like the sum of the parts for the receiving core for the most part, but Travion just seems like it's going to would make it super easy on this offense to just kind of keep things moving, keep drives going. Hey, we could take these easy ones. We can keep May on pace, right? Mm-hmm. And then we saw a nice little run from May, a nice little score, which is what we're, banking on and why we like May in them late rounds of the redraft space, and in general, long-term, like May for some hidden yardage from the rushing with the legs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was all good to see. A little up and down accuracy wise with May here and there. But obviously
where are you at on him? Where are you at on him as far as redraft goes? Like, obviously it's a smash.
Oh man, I love it. And read like 12th round Drake May all day.
Like, are you waiting until the 12th round to get you a quarterback though? Or you already got somebody paired? You already got somebody paired up.
Basically, for me, it kind of goes like, if the 8th round comes around, late 8th, 9th, and I hit a dead spot, I'll go Knicks. I'll take Mahomes. Then I'll kind of hang out and wait, and then it's usually May if he hangs around, like, or Fields. Mm-hmm. I don't, regardless of, again, what you think about Fields and his quarterback play, the points that he's going to score are going to be good. And I think May is going to be kind of a similar fashion where there may be some up and down games where the Patriot offense is less to be desired week over week, but the legs are going to be super strong for May. So yeah, I would draft, depending on how my team broke down and who's left, like, and how the quarterbacks are coming off the board. Like, yeah, I'd draft May a round and a half early. I'd draft him late 10th, 11th if I had to.
That's kind of the way that I'm looking at this now.
Yeah.
Is to go grab a Drake May, like, just completely punt quarterback to the end of the draft, like get to about the 10th, and then I don't have a quarterback. Everybody in the league is going to be clowning you because you don't have a quarterback. Oh, what are you going to do? You're going to try to sub in, and you just take Drake May, and then you laugh as he gives you another 500 or 600 yards rushing, and he's a top 10 quarterback, and you got him in the 12th round. So you can go Drake May at that point. I mean, with a guy like Dak Prescott's in the 11th. So if you're at the end of a draft, like at the end of a round, you can go around early in like round 10, round 11 and go Dak Prescott and Drake May and just have your quarterback situation all the way figured out. I'm really high on Dak this year, by the way, if you guys
I mean, Dak usually goes before May.
Yeah, he's at the 11-9. So, Drake May's at the 12-9 or 12, 12-9, if I'm not mistaken. So, you could that's if I'm not committing to Josh Allen, Lamar, or Jaden Daniels, I typically just punt the position. And so I wanted to talk to you about that because I was curious to what your thoughts were, but we're kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
And I just want two of them and I can get them late. If I'm not going to commit to Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels or one of those guys with elite rushing upside, even Jalen Hurts, for example, like I would just punt until I got to this area of the draft.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. As far as the rest of the Patriots go, the exciting whites did well. Chisholm and Larson put up some nice numbers there.
Chisholm. You mean Landler? You said Larson. Landler.
Oh, sorry.
Larson's on IR for the year now, so super sad.
So that bummer there, but he came out with 7 for 35 and a touch. But Chisholm was nice, 6 for 50 and a touch. So they've got quite a battle on their hands and a situation of I don't exactly know which receivers they're going to keep or not, but he's certainly a nice little deep stash on a team to tuck away, right? He can play.
Efton Chisholm the third, for those of you who are not familiar, and Land Larison, both FCS guys, both out of I think Land Larison is out of UC Davis, and Chisholm went to Cooper Kupp's alma mater in Eastern Washington. Both undrafted free agents. Both were doing work. Land Larison, he already gave you the stat line, but he's on IR for the year. So, might want to stash. I think that he's a player. I know, he's a white running back, guys, but he's an exciting one. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it seems like Chisholm could get a shot because of some IR stint action, and we'll see how they kind of shuffle that wide receiver core with New England there. But definitely guys to keep on your radar for deeper team stash. Sean Cunningham says, busy adding a like and a comment for the boys on Spotify. Listen tomorrow. Make sure you go do that for us. Try to give us some 5 stars on the new FFD radio would really help out.
Appreciate you.
Mr. McCord comes in and says he's offered Jamar Chase for Bucky Irving, Nico Collins in a 0.5 Dynasty League. I have Kenny Walker, Caleb Johnson, Breece Hall, Monty Pollard as my RBs. Think it's a smash, except what's your thoughts? So Chase or Bucky and Nico in half point.
In half point? Wow. Okay. So put that back up, please.
Yep. I mean, I'll take Jamar Chase, I guess.
Yeah. I
probably should take the 2 for 1 there, but
it's really difficult because Nico on a per game basis is going to give you 16 or 17 points a game. We just saw Jamar Chase give you like 22 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason but even if he doesn't win the fucking Triple Crown this year, he's probably going to be around 20 or 21 points again. So you could probably turn him, if you decided to trade him, you could probably trade him for more than that. Just in picks. Like that's an absurd amount. Like that's a great haul. I would consider that, but I want the Omega level talent that is Jamar Chase.
Yeah. He said my thoughts were it's Jamar Chase and he's never available. I mean, that's essentially it. And there's you can turn him around and go get back what you paid for, 9 times out of 10. So it's never a terrible move, especially if you're already deep enough and you've already got a really good roster and you're just like, hey, the 2 for sometimes you need the 2 for 1, right? And because you can't quite fill it out, but you got a good roster and but the 2 for 1 upgrade is also nice if you're already in the elite status and you're just adding, I don't know, the top 1 or 2 player in all of Dynasty. So currently. All right. Let's keep it moving. There was an Ollie Gordon question in there. I know you wanted to talk a little Ollie Gordon, so let's go to that Bears game. Came out here, obviously no Caleb Johnson in this one. We had Bajent to get these boys started. Then we saw a little Case Keenum. I thought Monungai looked solid in this one as far as the reps he got and how he looked when he got the ball. Thought he looked good there. Luther Burden had a nice catch. Did he look slow? I don't know.
No. that I can tell you, Luther Burden did not look slow.
Did Genty look slow? Did Amarian Hampton look slow?
Genty's probably the worst first round running back
ever.
Maybe ever.
Don't draft him.
Can't draft him.
Yeah.
This is sarcasm, by the way, guys.
So much sarcasm. But Tua and the first team offense were out there with Miami. Chicago's was not really. I thought, I'm in the minority here of saying that, I feel very comfortable taking Tua in Dynasty, right? I think
he's a QB3, which
right.
I mean,
he's super cheap. He's the cheapest he's ever going to be. Yes, there's some head issues that's kind of baked into some stuff. Like if he was putting up the points he puts up and didn't have concussion issues, he'd be up in the 5th or 6th round with, or maybe even the 4th with the Penixes and the Bakers and the, not that he scores Baker points, but like he's a very, very strong QB2 if he's playing, right?
Yeah, he was excellent last year when he came back from the concussion.
Right. So I kind of like Tua. I think he's super cheap. I really liked what I saw from Malik Washington out there. Taj Washington actually didn't look terrible either, but I think Malik Washington, if anything should happen to Tyreek Hill or Waddle or they trade Tyreek Hill, like I think Malik Washington is just in prime position to smash. They love him. McVay, Shanahan, Daniels was saying, or whoever was saying that he's just always in the right place at the right time when you need him where he's supposed to be. And just good after the catch. Now they poked the ball out on him after he had picked up a first down.
It's fine.
The Sewell brother, got up, and it was it wasn't like a peanut punch or anything. He just got up in the right spot on the tackle. Sewell actually played extremely well in that game.
Yeah.
For the linebacking core of
the Bears.
But Achane looked explosive. Jalen Wright had a run or two, and obviously 1.8 carry is not great. But I think when we looked at this, when we did the 2 running back or the second year running back guy, like there were some times where he'd have some good runs in games, and then he would get tackled behind the line, and it would knock that average back down to this terrible number. So what that number is indicative of and how he looked, I don't think we're the same thing as far as Jalen Wright. Got stuffed at the goal line. I don't care who was in twice. I don't care who was playing running back for them at that point. They got blown the F up in the backfield, and Sewell again, I believe, on that one. But at the end of the game, you did see some Ollie Gordon. You saw Madison have a neck injury. He's out for the year. So Ollie Gordon just automatically got elevated a little bit. And, if we're going to think that Wright maybe could struggle in some short yardage stuff, which I'm not ready to go there just yet. But look, Ollie Gordon never struck me as the best short yardage guy either. He's kind of a runway guy, right?
But Casey, one of the very first episodes that we did together, we talked about how bad that offensive line at Oklahoma State was last year.
Sure, of course.
And there's kind of a, same kind of deal going on with the Miami Dolphins offensive line right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're 1 year removed from the quote unquote short yardage back in Miami scoring 20 touchdowns when it was Raheem Mostert. And if you believe in Ollie Gordon at all or know anything about him at all, it's that he's a massive human and that they need this role. I mean, I know I think Tyreek Hill was trolling when he said Devon Achane's not a short yardage back, but there's a pathway you can create with no more Alexander Mattison, which Alexander Mattison looked decent in this short yardage work. If I'm not mistaken, he scored the touchdown. I had the thought for a fleeting second that, hey, maybe this is kind of the year where we get back to, these guys using a guy closer to the goal line, and then we just throw the ball to Devon Achane a lot. And I think that's the way that you keep Devon Achane on the field. You don't, ram him between the tackles with his 195-pound frame. And then Ollie Gordon, who won the Doak Walker in college, gets off to a fast start in the NFL. Obviously, they saw something, which, again, if you watch, it's not hard to imagine why this dude could do this. But I know that's a lot of word salad, but I think Ollie Gordon is a sneaky buy right here.
Yeah, he's pretty free. So
And that's just more so a reflection of my damnation of Jalen Wright. I don't think he's going to be a thing.
yeah, but I think Monungai has a chance. So to me, Monungai should be an ad. There
100%.
was some
Yes.
people were commenting on his pass pro, but I think Ben Johnson just really likes Monungai, and I thought he did well, thwarting some stuff in the backfield, finishing some runs. So I liked what we saw from Monungai.
So you got the
And
Ben
he's never
Johnson,
fumbled.
Yeah, you got the Ben Johnson, Jamal Williams 2022 season. This could be, again, we're like 22 press conferences in per coach speak index, and Ben Johnson hasn't said a fucking word about Roschon Johnson.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's very strange. So yes, go get Kyle Monangai off waivers or send some cheap trades for him. I think this, again, he's acting like Roschon Johnson doesn't exist. So DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, we're seeing it play out now. And he just, again, acts like Roschon Johnson does not exist.
Yeah. Roschon, I think, was banged up coming into this one, so I don't think he was there, but maybe we'll see him next game. And so I'd be interested to just see what he looks like out there because I've always kind of liked Roschon. But Monungai seems like he's more in line for the B role than Roschon at this point. Jay Keefe asked Achane or Hampton straight up the half point PPR 12 team Achane any format. I don't even care.
Achane, yeah.
Obviously it's half point, so it hurts Achane a little bit from the pass catching perspective. But
I mean, unless Big Boy spikes 10 to 12 touchdowns this year, it's still going to be Achane.
Yeah. All right, we've got a couple more things too before we wrap up in here. We skipped over Kyle Williams. Didn't really have a catch, but now there's stuff. I texted you and was like, "Hey, he cooked him a couple times. He just didn't get it." So no worries with Kyle Williams. Played a lot deeper into the game than a lot of these other guys. Obviously, Diggs wasn't out there. We didn't see a whole lot of Pop Douglas or Hunter Henry or any of those guys, but Kyle Williams was out there and Kyle Williams was doing his thing. He got him down at the end zone. Dobbs short-armed him on a go ball, which he absolutely cooked him. So Kyle Williams could have been all over the highlights in this one and just was not. So
Kyle Williams is going to go down as like a favorite of the show just because of the lore behind this.
Yeah, but I mean, but he's playing well.
He's good. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think
and again, it might be a slow start. We've talked about this before just because, maybe Boutte grabs that first thing and you only see Kyle Williams a little more limited throughout the season here or until there's an injury or whatever because of just how that lineup's going to go. But I'm pretty excited about Kyle Williams for the future of
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. All right, let's we can Chase Brown getting used a bunch in the receiving game. That's been well documented. Love to see that. Big Chase Brown pod. Me and Big Co did an episode running back. We feel like Chase Brown it's going to be Groundhog's Day with Chase Brown all over again this time next year at least April of next year of how he's getting replaced after he just crushed because people hate him. He's the new Kyron.
Yep.
So I think Chase Brown looks good. It looked like Landon Dickerson avoided serious injury for the Eagles. Could have been a potential big injury on that O-line early, but it looks like he could be back before the season starts.
They're gonna shave that bad boy. It was a torn meniscus. They're just gonna shave it off and then he'll be back. Now, when he's 40, he's gonna have some trouble walking.
I can tell you now that sucks down the line. Although he probably could get some better stem cells than I can get.
Yeah.
I thought, even though I don't like the Subaru driver, I thought he looked pretty good. Jackson Dart came out there.
Yeah, he looked really good.
He looked good.
Over under 6 weeks. He's a starter.
Oh, I'm going way over.
Oh, I'm going under.
I think they're sticking. I think they'll stick. I don't know why you don't roll right out there with him. If you're them, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'll let him sit the whole first year. It doesn't really bother me much at all. I'd play Jameis and or Russ. I just really dislike Russ, so I like it to be less than 6 games, but I think it's going to be more than 6 games. I think Dayball's. I don't know. Maybe that quarterback bought Dayball some more time, and if he catches some lightning in the bottle at the end of the year with him. But I think Dayball's days may be numbered, although this defense could save their ass this year. I think the Giants might have a decent D.
I'm telling you like this here. Jackson Dart is Brian Dayball's get out of unemployment free card.
Yeah.
That's it. And there's no way that he keeps him off the field for 6 weeks if they get off to like a 2-4 or 1-5 start. They're going to do exactly what the Patriots did with Drake May. That's the way I see that playing out.
Yeah. Didn't help homeboy though. He got the axe. Yeah. We could talk a little. We'll finish. I didn't want to lead with the Browns. I didn't want to get all over Shedeur, but I thought that game. I watched the whole thing from start to finish. I watched a lot of these games from start to finish. I've been a little under the weather through the weekend. Still not feeling super great. But I thought Shedeur was great, man. Like I'm not, just in a feel for how the game needs to be played. Pressure, moving around. Never understood the he's not athletic thing. Like he's not Lamar Jackson, but he can get away from pressure. Right. Maybe that's why they think like, I'm like, I never understood. Like he's not a statue. He can move around just fine. He's actually great at avoiding pressure. He's great at standing in there and delivering throws. I thought he did. And of course, I'm not saying anything that everybody in the national media hasn't said 1 million times at this point, but how Shedeur hasn't earned a little bit more opportunity here for them. I have a lot of confidence in Shedeur. I thought he was better than kind of where he got pigeonholed into there in the NFL draft. I think he's probably a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel right now.
Probably. There's no fucking question about that.
Yeah.
I will argue with anybody right now. Like, go point me to what Dylan Gabriel does better than Shedeur Sanders.
And furthermore, like, I think Joe Flacco's days are behind him. He was super mid
last year
in Indy. Now he can come in there and I think they're trying to save face in that organization a little bit of like, hey, we're trying to give the veterans, that hey, we're giving a shit, but it's just like, dude, go play one of these younger guys, man.
Yeah, like stop with the nonsense. Please.
Right. I just and maybe Flacco makes you more comfortable as far as fantasy assets, and maybe that could be true. But if I'm them, if Gabriel can play next week, I let Gabriel play a bit in the second half and let Shedeur play in the first half, and then next week I swap them and let Gabriel play the first half and Shedeur play the second half, and see kind of how that goes, and see what we can do. And I don't know, man. The vibes feel like it's a nice trajectory for where Shedeur is, and what we saw. You can say it's the Panthers, you can say it's the preseason, you say whatever you want. I'm not looking for who he's beating. I'm just looking how it feels out there for that player when they're playing, and it just looked comfortable. Nothing looked like it was too big. It didn't look rushed. He knew where to go. Like the throws were on time.
Yeah, I liked everything that we saw there. Almost like he's a coach's kid that grew up in an NFL locker room. That's crazy.
Right. So, Shedeur obviously didn't work out how I had it pre-draft at all. And I downgraded him, but still like the player. That's what happened. Like, you don't have to get off of guys just because the draft didn't go like you did. If you did the work, you should stay in on them. You just have to downgrade it to the point of where it now makes sense. Right. And we've seen that year over year with players from the FFD that we've liked, and with it being Bucky or Kyron, those guys are just your recent examples. Right now it's Torrey Horton was a big guy for us as far as receivers, and multiple people screaming about a fifth-year wide receiver or a fifth-round wide receiver stinks. And we went on a few shows here and there and told us how it's probably not going to be a thing because it's a fifth-round. The whole point is you don't wager on every fifth. We know all of the fifth-round receivers are bad bets. But doing the research and the work and betting on one or two is not a bad bet, right? It does work out for some people. They're called the outliers. You just have to identify which ones those are, right? And sometimes you're going to hit it, sometimes you're not, which leads me into a little bit of Shedeur, but Torrey Horton Jr. looking awesome. And now there's a whole bunch of people out there talking about Torrey Horton's checking all the boxes. Motherfucker, 2 months ago, you said he's a fifth-round pick and he stinks.
Yeah.
But now he's checking the boxes. So that's the kind of analysis I don't really appreciate.
Hey, man, I always say it. There's ball watchers and there's ball knowers. You gotta get in where you fit in, man.
Yeah.
Like, again, we're not offering opinions based on spreadsheets and shit. Like, me and him really get in the trenches and watch the film. And if you don't know how to watch film, like, you can learn. There's resources available to you to do so. But we're not just coming to you with an uneducated opinion about a player that got bad draft capital. It's like, hey,
Right.
the guys fall for different reasons, but we've done the work to give you an educated opinion. Is it going to work out? No. We're
No.
aware that it's not.
So many
It's
misses.
in no way, shape, or form hey, bet my mortgage on this deal because
Right.
it's a 5th round pick. So,
Right.
but there's a pocket where you can go buy a guy that you were really high on in the process for much cheaper, which is basically dynasty arbitrage. Like, hey, I like this guy a lot. Market's way cheaper than what I think it should be. You can go grab a bunch of that player. Then all of a sudden, when they turn into, wide receiver 1, you have increased the value of your team tenfold because you just took a guy in the 3rd round and he panned out.
Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to say that we're right and everybody else is wrong. We're wrong so much, right? And then you're just going to be wrong. That's just what it's going to
Like,
be.
we're
But it's
probably
not,
going to be wrong about Travis Hunter, and we're comfortable with that.
Definitely not going to be wrong about Caleb Johnson. Definitely not going to be wrong about Travis. No, I'm just kidding.
Definitely. Hey, we just got to get Caleb Johnson. He's just too slow footed.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I'm rolling with. He's just too slow footed.
Yeah. Yep. Short. Dynasty Dog says like Jalen Royals. Yes, Jalen Royals again, another favorite of ours. But it's about going through and picking the right guys in the process. And look, Malik Washington was one of my guys last year, and it didn't really work out. But you saw little glimpses that hey, you like him for
dynasty, man.
Right? It's dynasty, yeah. And dude, the outliers are kind of what it's all about. It's pretty easy to identify the big dogs. Do
you need me to tell you Emeka Egbuka's good at football?
Not really, right? And hey, again, I could be so wrong about Caleb Johnson. He's my personal favorite. It could have been Omarion Hampton by a landslide. Omarion Hampton and Caleb Johnson could both suck, right? That's not out of the realm of possibilities. Krosky Merritt's the best player in this draft. You know what I mean? That's how quickly that could go. But that's what Horton has been great through camp. Horton was great in this preseason game. Horton is going to be their 3rd wide receiver on the Seahawks. There's no way, no how that it's malpractice if he's not going to be. And he had an injury that kind of slowed him down a little bit. And I'm surprised he didn't come out the year before. And that's he was on my radar early and often. A little bit older, but man, oh man, he is just a man amongst boys out there right now, and that's what you're looking for at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: we have to get out of this whole they broke out super late or like the COVID math changes everything here because we just again like this whole half decade of guys pretty much got an extra year, so
Yeah, just wanted to double back to that Panthers situation real quick, and I didn't touch on it, but Bryce Young to me on those first couple on that first driver, like Bryce Young is firmly planted in big riser, super confident in kind of where we're going with what Bryce is doing, man. He looks confident and in control. Him and Ted are going to have a good career together. Jalen Coker was excellent in that game as well. They're now, he's back in the good graces and he was on outside looking in and he worked his way all the way to in, and we'll see whose spot he might be able to take, but he should be on that field playing a decent role for Carolina. Now, will it be Thielen early? Probably not, right? Thielen's going to get out there and do his thing. Is it going to be over Hunter Renfrow? If Hunter Renfrow makes the team and is healthy, I don't know. Is it going to be over Xavier Leggett? Maybe. I think they serve different purposes as players, right? The utility of those two guys, right?
Yeah. He's doing everything he can. I mean, obviously you end up the odd man out when you've got 2 first-round picks and a $34 million receiver, in the fold. Mm-hmm. And then you bring in Hunter Renfrow to see what he's got. And he was a top 10 wide receiver for a season back in like 2021. He's been dealing with Crohn's disease and all of these internal medicine issues that kept him off the football field. But I've said it before and I said it again. Before they added Tetaroa McMillan, the big pineapple, I said that Jalen Coker was the best receiver on this roster. I'm saying it again. He's the second best receiver on this roster behind Tetaroa McMillan.
And it looks like they got another good one in Jimmy Horn Jr. too.
Like
Jimmy Horn Jr. looks good.
They've gone from whatever the fuck they were when they first drafted Bryce Young to one of the most talent rich rooms in the entire NFL in terms of talent.
And they have a good, as far as
there's not a lot of skill set overlap.
Right, exactly. It's not exactly. That's a good, perfect. Dynasty Dogs, what up? Trey Harris. I mean, this is a big pro Trey Harris pod. The Keenan ad, a lot of people out there are oh, well, if you weren't in on Lad and the Keenan then you weren't really in. I mean, Keenan's got to affect this a little bit, right? In general for this year, right? I mean, it's just, you can't. We're already slightly worried about volume, although I think we're slightly overreacted to that because I think we'll see more of what we saw Herbert after injury. Now, obviously, the Roshan Slater injury is a whole nother issue, which is a huge bummer for them. They've been I don't know what's going on over there in LA, or in California in general, but from the Rams to the Chargers to the Niners, the injuries over the years, these past couple of years, just really derail seasons quickly.
Yeah.
So
I got a bunch of fraud doctors out there. Just they should be doing boob jobs, and they're doing ortho evaluations.
Yeah. I think Trey, as far as I'm still drafting him in redraft because he's super late. I'm still drafting him in Dynasty because I love him. Keenan, I don't know. Is he trying to set the franchise record for catches? I have no idea. I don't even know why they bring that guy in. I think he's a good guy to have around these guys, right? I think long term,
I think
good. Go ahead.
I think that I said this when the Patriots drafted Kyle Williams, and I'll say it for the Chargers as well. This is going to help Trey Harris's development a ton. Will it help his fantasy production in year one? No. There's firmly a top two in terms of the pecking order of the passing tree, and it's going to be Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen can line up outside and win and dominate. I wasn't bullish on Trey Harris's outlook for 2025 anyway, just because I think there has to be some growth and development that happens just because of the way that he was used at Ole Miss. I think his skills are there. The talent is there. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer, kind of like when Mike Williams first broke in the league. It didn't really he was injured too, but he had the whole back thing. But I think moving forward, 2026, I think that Trey Harris is going to be one of the most valuable guys. I don't think it's going to happen. I have no reason to believe that he's not going to work out, though.
Yeah, I don't think Keenan's going to be holding the pom-poms all that much. I do.
Maybe last time he was in the Chargers uniform, he put up 1,200 yards in 13 games. And then last year, he put up 700 yards in 13 games.
Yeah, which maybe
he's cooked.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he knows what he's doing out there. He's a professional. Will he be in a crazy playing every snap of every game? No, I'm sure not. But no. He's definitely effing up the math over there as far as target distribution to some extent, right?
Well, I mean, they needed a reliable target that just Herbert had some familiarity with. They've been telling you what they want to do. They need guys that they can
just want to be good at football. I think that's what they want to do.
But they need guys that Herbert can trust to be in the right spots. They tried it with Mike Williams. Mike Williams, hey, I'd rather go home and be a family man. They go get Keenan Allen. There's familiarity. Like I said, the last time that he was in a Chargers uniform, put up 1,200 yards in 13 games, 21 points a game. Is it going to be that? No, because he's not going to be the focal point of the offense. But he does represent familiarity, comfort. That he's going to be able to separate and get open. So it just gives them another talented player to take attention away from Ladd McConkey, who's, I still believe, the alpha of this, of this target share, this offensive ecosystem from a pass catching standpoint.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that there's a pecking order here and it goes Ladd McConkey or Rondé Gadsden, but That's
I
neither.
I would love I nothing would make me happier as a dynasty owner than for Oronde Gaston to be like 2023 Sam Laporta. But I fully acknowledge that that's probably not going to happen.
No, but he's they love him. He's all over all over the broadcast, all over the news, all he's
I mean,
as
really
long as
fucking good.
As long as he makes it through unscathed as far as any serious injury this year, I think Aronde's to the moon in future stocks, right? All right, let's do. I'll get two more real quick on the way out because my throat's about done for, and I don't want to have a cough drop on air. Cowboys pecking order as far as running backs go. Still out on Javonte Williams.
Yes.
I'm going to give you every chance to get back in.
You can give me every chance, and I'll be that dude that just sits on his roof until he drowns during Hurricane Katrina because everybody came by to help me, and I just sat there because I was like, never Javonte Williams, never ever, never again.
So who is it going to be?
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders?
Yes. It's going to be actually, the answer is CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and Dak Prescott and Jake Ferguson. That's the answer.
Yeah. I think Javante's gonna muddy up the water and have some reasonable games for you.
Dude, he sucks so much. And I know that that's not just quantitative or qualitative analysis, but I just think that Javonte Williams is not very good at American tackle football.
I think they want to get, if we can get Jaden Blue healthy, I think he offers them a kind of an explosion point of some pass catching. But I'd like to see Miles in there because I like Miles, but I think Javonte is going to grab that and hold on to it at least for a minute. AD Mitchell looking good out there. We kind of liked him a little bit of hey, he had no problem getting open his rookie year. It was the dumb shit and converting. And then he was kind of dropping the ball early on, but has since looked pretty solid. A lot of good highlights from him. So AD Mitchell, nice little late round sleeper guy that you should be settling up on your team and throwing down there and just to save. And then you wanted to get a little Raheed Shaheed talk in.
Yeah, I don't understand this. This is the part that I am most confused about. To close the loop on AD Mitchell. AD Mitchell is awesome. I think he was my pre-draft wide receiver 4 or 5 from that class. I thought he was going to be awesome. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, runs a 4.3, 39-inch vertical. All he needs is just, reliable targets and to hold on to the ball. So he sucked at the beginning of camp, and he's just been making play after play after play after play for like a week straight, or maybe more than that now. So I clocked this. I'm glad that you brought it up. Moving on to Rashid Shaheed, I don't understand this price point. So he was 13 points a game before he had the knee injury last year. I know that offense is supposed to suck, but when you have a guy with a skill set like Rashid Shaheed, I just don't understand why we're not clicking the button and giving ourselves a chance at a guy who can make his week on like one play.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what he represents to me. So, I mean, and for pretty consistently, whenever you see him, you think that that's how Chris Olave is supposed to be moving, but it's Rashid Shaheed, and he's just out there just making plays, making stuff happen. Go ahead.
I'm not tolerating Olave slander on this.
There's no Olave slander, bro. I'm just saying that they have 2 really good wide receivers, and nobody seems to care. Like Chris Olave is at the 601, Rashid Shaheed is at the 1008, and he represents a one play touchdown. It's the literal opposite of what Chris Olave represents, is like a volume safe. Basically, like Chris Olave is like Bayou Michael Pittman.
Chris Olave can give you one play touchdowns too. He's got 4.3 speed.
How many do we have? How many plays of 40 plus yards does Chris Olave have in his career?
Oh,
not very many.
I'm not sure, but I'm just because there's been a lot more volume. We just got him at 1208 in a $500 startup tight end premium super flex.
Rashid Shaheed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love that for you guys. Like all he has to do is just be on the field, and that's going to be a positive. And I came across an interesting stat. Like Kellen Moore's pace of play is always like top 5 to 10 in almost every offensive coordinator stop. So even if this offense is bad, they're going to run a lot of plays. And I do feel like we got to see a little bit of Rashid Shaheed as a full-time wide receiver. I think that takes another step forward in this offense this year. It's just not going to be very reliable until we get a meaningful quarterback.
Yeah. And I don't know who that's going to be, right, for the Saints. And I really, actually, frankly, don't care that much. I think if it's, Shuck or Rattler, either one of them could get it, not be good, but get enough done for both of those receivers to be fine, right? Rattler has been okay. Shuck threw the pick 6 and then came back and threw, a nice bomb to don't even know who it was. Drawing a blanket at the maybe Tipton. Yeah.
I feel
Mason
like
Tipton.
So we got to get back to you on that.
I pulled the box score up. It's 54-yard bomb. And it was a good throw. And he threw a pick 6. Shit happens. He's out there playing. He looked okay. He was with the second team, third team. I'd be interested to see what he looks like with the first team. I don't think Rattler's the worst ever. I think they're not going to win very many games with either one of those guys. And I don't think it wouldn't matter really who the Saints quarterback was winning games. I think both of them are good enough and have a live arm enough to get it to either one of those players a reasonable amount. And Alvin Kamara, I think, is going to absolutely smash once again in this offense.
Yeah.
So I like Kellen Moore, man. I know. See, every time I turn around, I feel like people are killing him, and I'm like, I don't understand why
it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, man. Like, you got a career year, you got CeeDee Lamb's breakout year under his regime. You had the Keenan Allen breakout year, the career year, his best year as a pro under Kellen Moore. You got the Saquon all-time great season under Kellen Moore. Like, why are we killing him again?
Yeah, I really don't understand.
From a fantasy perspective, you think he's a shit coach, that's fine.
No,
but from a fantasy perspective, I just outlined 3 different awesome fantasy outcomes that happened under his watch.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I don't understand, like, from a coach perspective, why would we be upset about it? Like, he's getting a chance. He's been around. He played quarterback at a fairly high level. He didn't work out in the pros. He's a coach's son. He's been around this shit his whole life.
Right.
He's done nothing but put together good offenses. Like, and now the Saints are just finally having to pay the piper from all those years of contractually pushing terrible shit down the line. And they kind of had to eat it here for a minute. And I hope Kellen Moore isn't just the fall guy. I hope they give him a chance to build this thing how he would like to build it, because I do think they made some pretty good selections, I think, in the draft, whether you like Shuck or not. I mean, it's a second-round quarterback. You needed to do something. You needed another shot at somebody there. And maybe it should have been Shedeur. He definitely has a type. Kellen does anyway, So, Rattler's been getting a little bit of love. I think Rattler can throw it around enough that I'm not terrible. Like, one game with Olave, I think Olave had 14 targets with Rattler in the Chargers game, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think he was out by that.
He was very adamant about that. He was like, yeah, I'm going to throw Chris Olave the ball a lot.
Right. And so I think between the quarterbacks and Kellen Moore, they're going to get the ball to their best guys, whether it's when they're down 30-3 or not. It doesn't really matter. Fantasy points are fantasy points. So not terribly worried about it over there. And I think they got a good left tackle. I think I think that was a great pick by them.
Yes.
So I think their O-line should be a little better. They're getting some guys going back to some original spots as well. Trevor Penning, I believe, right?
Yep.
He's going back to a guard position, right? So
yeah.
I think they can be a little better in that area, getting out of the wide zone Kubiak situation that they were in last year, right?
Yeah.
But I'm Kamara, Olave, Shaheed. I think those guys will be used just fine. The Saints is going to be a little ugly. Trey Lance got a little bit of run, and really was kind of decent. I know Trey Lance is a bust in the grand scheme of things, and we talked about this a little bit on the Patreon show of just like, but really he hasn't even played.
Correct. We don't know if he sucks for real because he's never. Right. We just know that he wasn't better than Brock Purdy, which Brock Purdy just got $250 million.
Right. And he also had a few opportunities where he got hurt. Trey Lance, that is, right. So And then, hey, we saw this guy Purdy, and we had to ship him out because we didn't want the competition of this guy staring down his back, and then we had to answer these questions. And I think it was the right call for them. Probably saved their jobs. But I know Trey Lance we hate on him, but the legs have been on full display over these first 2 games with Trey Lance, and I thought he's made some decent throws here and there. Now, only threw for 55 yards in this one, but I watched the game and it felt a lot better than that as far as kind of what he was doing for them. So again, hasn't played a whole lot. And I think this is a great spot for him to be in. Go over with Harbs and Roman and hang out for a minute, right? Get somebody who loves you, like, and can treat you right. Because
that's the beautiful thing is like he needs someone to cultivate him as a quarterback because he just doesn't have the requisite starts.
Right.
Like he just hadn't played enough quarterback.
Right.
It's not that he sucks. It's just that he hasn't played enough quarterback.
Yeah. No, I like it. You got anything else you want to touch on before we close up week 1 of the preseason?
No, man. I'm looking forward to week 2. I'm really excited. Hopefully we get a little bit more of the dress rehearsal. This whole only 3 weeks of full preseason just kind of fucks with me because normally I start waiting to formulate my opinions. Like preseason week 3 was always my go-to in my preparations for all my drafts. But now we're having to kind of cobble everything together because the 3rd week of the preseason is now the last week of the preseason. And that just kind of messes everything up. So hopefully we get a lot more answers this coming weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a mixed bag of who you saw, what, where, when, how, of which offenses were playing and who was getting drives and this and that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we get week 2 here. I don't know if, I guess week 2 would maybe be the more of let's get our guys out there and see what's going on. And then everybody rests in week 3.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's basically what I'm hoping we get this weekend.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap this one up. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week for another live. Might be one of the last lives before the season starts there. And then we'll be we're going to have a football show where we on Mondays at 11 p.m. we'll be live recapping kind of the weekend events of football. So that'll be fun of a live show that we do pretty much every week. 11 a.m. Eastern, and then we'll be doing another football show, me and Chev, on Wednesday nights, maybe a little bit more like PTI style kind of conversation with a sidebar and some discussion topics to kind of flow through, followed by maybe a Patreon after that to kind of keep it rolling. So got some good live stuff lined up for you in season, so this won't be the last that you see of us. But and then Chev's going to be going live for you on the Redraft channel on Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah. 12 to 4 Central Time. We're going to be on there clowning around, talking some ball. Like there's like 8 games. I think like 6 games during the Saturday day slate. So yeah, I'm going to be live, and then I'm going to be doing one of my real drafts, like streaming that live so you guys can come in and clown around and talk kind of what we're thinking. I got the 10th pick. So if you guys have done a bunch of drafts from the 10 spot for a redraft, feel free to chime in and tell me what you think. But yeah, we're going live over on the FFD Fantasy channel Saturday from 12 Central to 4 Central.
Yeah. So in that, we might extend arts and crafts time by 4 hours today if we're feeling frisky over there. We might just do some best balls and talk ranks and shop and all sorts of stuff potentially over there of whatever you want to do, and just kind of shooting the shit live. Always good after Chev's draft. I'll try to pop on there beforehand and chat with you. I'm sure there'll probably be some other people and maybe pop in and out as well. So that'll be fun over on the Redraft channel. Make sure you come check that out if you haven't already. FFD Radio if you haven't already. www.fantasyfootballsurvivor. I think he put it in here. Jason did in the YouTube comments. A lot of fun over there. Make sure you check that out. All right, guys. Until next week. Peace.